things are about to be broken. That's what a lot of people say about certain teams and all that. And droughts. In the NFL, for the longest time, the Bengals and the Chiefs had the longest playoffs win drought. The Chiefs, it lasted almost seemed to be forever, like 2 decades before they finally won a match. The Bengals lasted from 1991 until their fantastic run in 2021 when they got to the Super Bowl and took care of the LA Rams. Or so it seemed, but they didn't. The fact of the matter is that droughts are something of an anomaly, and people will fixate on droughts. Like Cleveland not winning World Series since 1948, or the Sacramento Kings and their predecessors not winning an NBA title since 1951, and of course in hockey, the Leafs not winning since 1967. But what if I told you that there's only one team in the NFC as of right now that has never been to a NFC title game in the 32 team era? This is the story of that franchise and also of one team that should have got to the NFC title game but failed. Let's talk about the 2014 Cowboys. So get ready. I said, are you ready? Are you ready for some Cutter What If NFL football? A weekend invasion! Yeah, it's Cutter talking to you live. We got the hits and the misses. So come join me for all the fun. All the rowdy friends come in. It's the weekend, y'all. Are you ready? Yeah, let's do this, baby. Yes. So the history of the Dallas Cowboys is big. In 1960, Dallas got an NFL team, expansion team, only because the AFL, the American Football League, wanted to put a team in Dallas, thanks to Lamar Hunt's efforts. So the NFL says, screw it, we're going to have the NFC. We need an NFL team. So, of course, Dallas got their team. This wasn't the first time Dallas had a team in the NFL. In 1952, after some wrangling, the Dallas Texans were around. Unfortunately, that team sucked so horribly. They just couldn't win a game to save their lives until the final week of the season when they took care of the Chicago Bears in a shocker. So that was huge. Dallas was so micromanaged that they had to play their home games eventually on the road. Nevertheless, that team went to Baltimore to become the Baltimore Colts, and then that franchise went to Indy in 1984. But Dallas got their NFL team. The worst part about the Dallas team in 1960, their expansion team, they couldn't win a game to save their lives. Literally, they were 0-11-1, and the tie was against the New York Giants, in which Tom Landry was once a coordinator for the Giants before he became Dallas's head coach. Dallas would slowly but surely build up. A lot of people thought that Landry was done for after 1964, but he wasn't. He was just getting started, and the Cowboys were getting started. By 1967, they were a dominant team. They went to the NFL title game against the Green Bay Packers in back-to-back years. The first year, they got to host the NFL title game, in which they were close but lost to Green Bay. And then the next year, they had to play in the Ice Bowl for the right to play in Super Bowl II against the Raiders. Dallas would be hard luck. In 1971, they seemed to be well put. They got to Super Bowl V. Chuck Howley got the MVP, which is an automatic win, right? Wrong. Super Bowl V will be known as the Blunder Bowl for 11 turnovers between Dallas and Baltimore. The Colts won on a last-second Jim O'Brien field goal and won. However, Dallas did win the Super Bowl VI, crushing Miami and putting Bob Griese on the turf. Dallas would be the predominant NFC team in the 1970s. The Vikings, you could also argue, but at least the Cowboys could finish the job. The Vikings just couldn't. The Cowboys would face Pittsburgh in a couple of Super Bowls in the 70s, which were instant classics. Super Bowl 10 and 13 come to mind, of course. They did win Super Bowl 12 against the Broncos, even though they lost those 2 Super Bowls to the Steelers. But then Tom Landry started to age, and the team started to age, and all that. Staubach left. Danny White tried to come back, and Dallas played in the famous game, the catch game, that saw Dwight Clark, R.I.P., make that great catch in the end zone. off of the Montana Pass. The one thing I need to say is that, contrary to popular belief, this wasn't really the last part. It wasn't like a last second touchdown. Dallas still had 50 plus seconds to run down the field, and they actually were marching down the field, but Danny White took a bad fumble in San Francisco territory, and the Niners recovered. That's what people forget about that. Okay. Unfortunately, Dallas could do, right? Herschel Walker was basically the only good thing about Dallas and the Cowboys. And of course, Tom Landry was getting long in the tooth, and the new owners, after Clint Murchison sold the team to Jerry Jones, was that Jerry Jones would bring in his own coach, another double J, Jimmy Johnson, an Arkansas guy. So, woo! Jimmy Johnson was big at the University of Miami, and lo and behold, the Cowboys started to get better and better. Of course, letting go of Tom Landry after 27 years was never easy. The fact of the matter is that Dallas shrewdly used a big trade with Minnesota. They traded Herschel Walker to the Vikings and got draft picks, but they parlayed those draft picks into other players and other draft picks and all that. Emmitt Smith was the big example of that. But yeah, Dallas knew what to do. And by 1992, they were Super Bowl contenders. They went to Super Bowl 27, lay a beating on the Buffalo Bills 52-17. The next season, Emmitt Smith held out for the first two games. They were 0-2. But of course, Dallas came roaring back, nipped the Giants at the line for the NFC East despite losing that famous Leon Lett game. The fact of the matter was that Dallas was starting to get better. They won their second straight Super Bowl, and then, of course, internal strife between Jones and Johnson led to Jimmy Johnson leaving and Chan Gailey coming in. Or no, sorry, Barry Switzer coming in, gaining the Cowboys Super Bowl 30 and thing. But lo and behold, people did not foresee the fact that this was the last time the Cowboys, in 1996, that was, were going to get to the Super Bowl. Heck, this is the last year, as of this taping, that they have been to the NFC title game, the Final Four, if you will. I mean, every NFC team, even the Woeful Lions, even the Woeful Panthers, heck, even the Seahawks and the Cardinals have been to an NFC title game. And the Cowboys never have. They've had many famous playoff chokes, including losing to Carolina when they shouldn't have lost to that second-year team. The list is on and on going. What will Jerry Jones do? But regardless of that, let's talk about the 2014 Cowboys, in which I thought was highway robbery. All right, so here's the 2014 Dallas Cowboys season in a nutshell. They're 55th in the NFL. They're sixth playing at AT&T Stadium. Their fourth stadium season under Jason Garrett. They were 8-8, and then they put up a 12-win season. There was a tiebreak with Seattle and Green Bay to be who's number one in the NFC, but because the Cowboys had a worse conference record than the Seahawks and Packers, they had to start off at the 3 seed and subsequently a wild card game. They beat the Detroit Lions before losing to the Packers. The 2014 draft class, Zach Martin was good, but other than that, not so much. So anyway, Dallas had problems. DeMarcus Ware went to free agency. Sean Lee, the middle linebacker, was out before the season even started with a knee injury. Dallas was one of the most second-guessed NFL franchises during the preseason. A lot of people said that the Cowboys took Zach Martin over who should be the Cowboys' new star, quarterback Johnny Manziel. But it actually worked out in the end. Dallas making the right decision in a sense because Johnny Manziel, we all know about his off the field antics and all that. Regardless of that, Romo had some bad luck and all that. But Romo had bad preseason, mostly because he had off-season surgery to repair a herniated intervertebral disc in his lower back. A lot of people said that Dallas was struggling and all of that. Anyway, the fact of the matter is that Dallas defied expectations. They did lose the first few games of the season, but they went 13-3. And Romo actually did have the best passer rating in the NFL that season, even beating Russell Wilson and Tom Brady. Zach Martin had an all-pro season and all that, part of the best offensive line around. Thanks to the offensive line, DeMarco Murray was the rushing champion in that 2014 season. They won the NFC East after beating the Colts in the second last week, and it made sure Dallas made the playoffs for the first time in 5 years. With their 12 wins, it was amazing. They actually were 8-0 on the road, which was shocking enough. I mean, you're usually better at home than on the road. Anyway, Jerry Jones had some things. Jason Garrett was the head coach. The GM, well, Jerry Jones was the GM. Their final roster, in a sense, was Tony Romo starting at quarterback. Brandon Weeden, nicknamed the college's oldest rookie, the NFL's oldest rookie, because he was like 26 when he was drafted, was the backup. DeMarco Murray and Joseph Randle in the backfield. Cole Beasley, Des Bryant, great wide receivers. Their tight end, of course, Jason Witten. Who else? Offensive line, Travis Frederick, Doug Free, Tony Hills, Ron Leary. Zach Martin was also there. Tyron Smith. Defensive lineman was pretty good. Nick Caden, Demarcus Lawrence, Henry Melton Jr., and Anthony Spencer. Linebackers, Anthony Hitchens, Ronald McLean, Keith Smith. Defensive backs, Jeff Heath, Sterling Moore, Orlando Scandrick, C.J. Spillman, J.J. Wilcox, Dan Bailey, your kicker, Chris Jones, your special teams punter. So yeah, they weren't really that great and all that. They had to go to Jacksonville and play in Wembley Stadium. They had 4 straight wins, which was just amazing and all that. And all that. They crushed a lot of things and all that. So they were the 3 seed at 12-4. Philly were 10-6 and did not make the playoffs, which was shocking. You win double digits, but you couldn't win the playoffs. So in the annals of things, Seattle, Green Bay, and Dallas all won their divisions. The Panthers won the woeful South with 7-8 and a tie. Based on conference record, Seattle had the best conference record. Green Bay was second, Dallas was third. That meant Dallas had to play Detroit. Arizona beat Detroit head-to-head. That's why Arizona got the 5 seed and forced the Lions to play in Dallas, whereas the Cardinals would head to Carolina. Yeah, the Eagles were 10-6. They definitely would have made the playoffs if it wasn't for Carolina. In the wild card round against Detroit, Joe Buck and Troy Aikman were doing the calls. It was retractable roof closed. 91,000 fans were around. The Lions had a 14-0 lead. It looked like they were going to come to Dallas and beat them because, after all, Dallas did have a terrible home record. Golden Tate got a touchdown pass from Matt Stafford, and Reggie Bush, remember him? He got a touchdown run to make it 14-0. Terrence Williams got a long touchdown from Tony Romo with 2 minutes left in the second quarter. And then Matt Prater kicked the 39-yard field goal. Lions were up 20-7 after another Prater field goal when Dallas got a touchdown run by DeMarco Murray. Dan Bailey field goal made it 20-17. And then with 2.5 minutes left, Romo to Williams for a touchdown game set match. It was the first time the Cowboys ever were down by 10 points or more at halftime and won a game. Dallas became the team with the most NFL playoff wins in history with 34, one more than the Steelers. And then on a cold Sunday afternoon in Green Bay, they had a chance to take out those pesky Packers. No, that it was a tight game as Aaron Rodgers threw to Andrew Quarles for a touchdown, and then Romo passed to Tyler Klutz for a touchdown. And then Romo touchdown to Terrence Williams, and then Mason Crosby kicked the field goal before halftime. Dallas was up 14-10. In the third quarter, Mason Crosby field goal, make it 14-13. DeMarco Murray touchdown, and then Aaron Rodgers to Devontae Adams made it 21-20. In the fourth quarter, Richard Rodgers, who I believe the next season would catch a Hail Mary from Aaron Rodgers. No relation. got a touchdown. They went for two, missed. It was 26-21. So the Cowboys had a chance to do something about it. And Romo threw a nice pass to Des Bryant. Bryant made the catch and stumbled his way towards the end zone. The way it looked live, he could be out the plane, or at the very least, was down at the 1 yard line, which would be an easy punch in for DeMarco. However, the Packers challenged, thinking that Des Bryant did not complete the catch process. And to the shock of a lot of people who were not Packer fans, he did not complete the catch process, according to replay. Practically, Des Bryant was robbed of a catch. No, it would not have been a touchdown. It would have just been a long play to the 2 yard line. But the worst part was that obviously it was fourth down, meaning that Dallas would have to give the ball back to the Packers. Game, set, match, and the Packers win. However, Seattle got Green Bay's goat. If I remember correctly, that was when the Packers were up 16-0 in the NFC title game and choked it. And Seattle came back to win, faced the Pats in that famous 2015 Super Bowl, which saw Seattle make a dumb move and deciding to pass on the ball at the 1 yard, pass the ball at the 1 yard line instead of giving it to beast mode, Marshawn Lynch. So of course the big what if is what if the Cowboys had won in Green Bay and would take on Seattle? Let's find out. All right, so the Dallas Cowboys of 2014 would have played the 2014 Seattle Seahawks in Seattle because Seattle had those tie breaks for the NFC title and the chance to be in Super Bowl 49. Of course, we leave the other conference alone, so the Patriots. So if Dallas wins, they will face the Patriots, obviously. Like, I'm not changing anything up there. Whether applicable, if I remember, it was like 35 Fahrenheit. The sun was out though. So anyway, here's what happened. Dallas kicked to Seattle, who had to punt, and then after a stop on second down, Dallas got trouble for a face mask, 15 yards, and then Seattle with a trickery, Jermaine Kearse on the end run scores the touchdown. They go the extra point. They boom 7-0. Time expired for the first quarter. Then on to the second quarter. Seattle finished their 9-play, 67-yard drive as Wilson threw a nice pass to Doug Baldwin, who got a 22-yard touchdown catch to make it 14-0 Seattle. But Dallas got the ball back, and in 3 short plays, well, thanks to a nice kickoff return by Dallas, Romo hits Murray for a touchdown, and then get the extra point. So 10-7. Dallas recovered a Seattle fumble, but couldn't do a damn thing about it. And then in the last minute, Dallas was on the 37, marched down all the way to the 14, and would kick a 31-yard field goal through the uprights to make it 14-10 Seattle after one half, excuse. Dallas would start with the ball, but Bailey missed a 49-yard field goal. Then Hotchka made a 40-yard field goal to make it 17-10. In the fourth quarter, Dallas went on a long 14-play, 87-yard drive that took up 8+ minutes. They ran over first for a touchdown. They went an extra point, tying the game. Seattle got the ball, and then they punted with 2:16 left. So the 2-minute offense came through, and Romo overthrew Witten, and the pass was incomplete. So Bailey had to go for a 51-yard field goal and somehow hit it right down the pike. Wilson got a pass to Lynch for 16 yards. They call a timeout. Russell gets 9 yards. So with 35 seconds left, Wilson underthrows Kersey incomplete. 3rd and 1, Turbin gets a 6-yard play, but then the ball got knocked loose. And unfortunately for Seattle, Dallas would get the ball 20-17. So Kearse got a touchdown run. Baldwin for Wilson touchdown catch. Romo to Murray for a touchdown. Bailey field goal. Hotchkiss field goal. Dallas Walker a 3-yard touchdown run. And 17-17, and then Bailey ended it with 51 yards. Tony Romo, your MVP, 5 for 12 on 3rd down for Dallas. Seattle 6 for 15. Rushing 158 for Seattle. Passing yards 213, 157. DeMarco Murray 58 yards running. Catching and all that. Romo 18 for 24. That's 3 quarters, I believe. 219 and a touchdown. Russell Wilson 11 for 18 for 157 and a touchdown. Yeah, Bailey missed a 49-yard field goal, but hit a 51-yarder, which was kind of impressive. So Dallas will play New England, and I do believe they were the home team, obviously. Yeah, they were the home team. So, the Patriots do that to Stadium. Where was Super Bowl 49? I can't remember. Really. Yeah, I can't remember. It was in Glendale. Okay. It's at University of Phoenix Stadium in Glendale. So, yeah, depth chart. Ready for upload there. Emma Tola, Matthew Slater, Gronk. Yeah, they didn't have he who shall not be named. All right, so let's see what would have happened in the real Sim Super Bowl 49. Dallas were the home team because Seattle was the home team last time. Anyway, Dallas got the ball first and kicked the 35-yard field goal by Bailey. Gostkowski hit a field goal for New England to tie the game at 3. And then Dallas used a 12-play, 75-yard drive to get the touchdown by DeMarco Murray, making it 10-3. But the Patriots got the ball at their own 29. And Brady made a good play to Lavelle for 43 yards. Edelman does the reverse at 1st and goal, and it was a touchdown for the Pats. Tie game. Dallas went for a field goal attempt and went wide right with Dan Bailey, 41 yards. Gostkowski, with 3 seconds left, went for a 50-yard field goal, made it. It was 13-10 Pats. And in the third quarter, the Patriots got the ball first to start the second half, but didn't do it. They had to punt. Bailey kicked the field goal inside the upright to make it 13-13. And then the Patriots got the ball back. And after a few key plays, Brady threw the Gronk in the end zone. The extra point was good, 20-13. After 3. On to the fourth, Jeffrey. The Patriots would score another touchdown thanks to a 10-play, 85-yard drive as Gronkowski got another touchdown. Patriots made it 27-13. Looked like game over. Gostkowski kicked the field goal, make it 30-13. Dallas did score a touchdown on a DeMarco Murray play, but it was basically game set match. The Patriots would have won the Super Bowl anyway, so Dallas would have been screwed. But at least they got to the finals. Bailey field goal, Gostkowski field goal, DeMarco Murray touchdown, Edelman touchdown, Gostkowski field goal, Bailey 24-yard field goal, Brady to Gronkowski for 2, and Tom Brady is named MVP. Patriots 5 for 10 on third down. Dallas 9 for 16 on third and fourth down. Combined 169, 154 running for the Patriots, and they had the more rushing yard. But Mark Murray did have 121 yards and 2 touchdowns in the loss because Tom Brady could throw touchdown passes, and 2 to Gronkowski. 16 for 23, 247, 2 touchdowns. Romo 15 for 22, 233, but no interceptions, so that's good. Bailey made from 35 and 24, missed from 41. Well, he made a 50-yarder to win the NFC title game. Gostkowski made a 50-yarder himself. So the Dallas Cowboys would not have won the Super Bowl, but at least they would have played in the Super Bowl and all that. But just saying, Dallas needs to make the NFC title game before making a Super Bowl. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. Adieu.